It doesn't really help when you drop your speech on the floor. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Seniors, parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, and friends. It is my honor and my pleasure to welcome you to Lick-Wilmerding High School's Class of 2016 graduation ceremony. This is our 117th graduating class today. This also being my 5th year at the school, I actually was tempted to start recycling these speeches, but seniors, I thought that wouldn't be very nice and you'd feel cheated, so I forged ahead and have a few thoughts to share with you. I recently completed a novel titled All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This beautiful novel is about two young people, one German, one French, growing up before and during the Second World War. As I read the novel, and don't worry, I won't give away the plot, I was continually reminded that having come of age in the 1960s, I missed having to fight in a war. Indeed, though the United States has been at war for much of the past 15 years, most of us have lived our lives with little interruption to our daily hopes and dreams. This very obvious realization, but often unacknowledged, is that the age we live in can dictate what choices are available to us. For so many, World War II limited where you could live, where you went to school, where you bought your food, what you did, what you thought, what you ate, who you ate with, who you could love, who you could help, and who you could harm. Our life here in Northern California is very different from a war-torn continent. Though there are certainly obstacles in our place from time to time, I find it useful to keep my perspective about what is and what can be. The news each and every day is full of examples of how circumstances block human potential. Whether it is the human tragedy of the Middle East refugees desperately trying to enter Europe, or communities around the world dealing with the growing threat that climate change is unleashing upon a planet increasingly environmentally unstable. There are people in the world whose dreams are cut short, or altered, or even dried up and blown away by winds of circumstance. To know that many of these circumstances are human-made is to also know that somehow I might be responsible for situations that prevent others from reaching their potential. It is us who fight and pollute and block our borders to those in need. But I don't do these things. Rather, the collective us, our species, us humans, other people do them. They block borders and lay waste to the land and oceans, not I, them. So, how do we reconcile the partition between us and I? What part do I play in the collective actions of others when I feel as though I have no influence, no connection, when I don't feel particularly responsible for the global tides of trouble? This is always the question, isn't it? Many of us ask this same question when faced with the racial inequalities on which this country was founded. We may think, it is not my fault, or I was not there, so what can I possibly do to make a difference in a historical legacy? What I find is that often when I don't know how to right a wrong, I become defensive about defending my indecision. For example, for me, homelessness is one of the most intractable and morally disturbing dilemmas facing San Francisco and our nation. I don't understand how we let people sleep on the street without enough food in one of the wealthiest cities in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. But I also don't know what to do about homelessness. In fact, I become angry, first at the very problem, and then at times at the very people who who are homeless? Why don't they use the services available to them? Why do they have to live on the street? Why can't they take their medication to counter the mental illness that could be the cause of their dilapidated state? The very use of the word they to describe people who live on the street is a good indication of the distancing I subscribe to in order to equivocate. In the face of challenge that I don't know how to fix, I blame the oppressed. The same can be true of our history. But there is something I can do about our history. There is something I can do about homelessness. There is something I can do about climate change. As a teenager, I did not know how to work my way through my feelings of powerlessness in the face of forces that felt beyond my control and sphere of influence. But there is an answer to what I can do, and here it is. I know it's a little presumptuous to say that I have a solution to one of the great conundrums of human nature, but I do, actually really do. Our power to heal and confront the legacies we're handed comes from our ability to be compassionate. That's it. This word, compassion, is at the heart of Lick-Wilmerding's 5 Habits of Mind. Compassion is about our imagination. It compels us to leave ourselves and enter into the experience of someone else. What is the person feeling, thinking, wanting, wishing, and dreaming? Compassion compels us to inquire, to ask questions, to not just imagine, but to learn, to ask what others are feeling, thinking, wanting, wishing, and dreaming. Compassion often takes collaboration with others who care in order to address the legacies we inherit. Compassion certainly takes persistence, for it is not always easy to be compassionate when faced with our own worries and the intricate legacies that weave themselves through our lives. And finally, compassion is reliant on our ability to be reflective, to realize that there are others in the world who need our compassion. When I work hard to see someone as deserving respect and love and all of the comforts and joys that I am fortunate enough to have, I can't help but to create some type of connection that addresses the distance created by systems that feel overwhelming and impossible to open. There is a reason why the last word of Lick-Wilmerding High School's mission statement is compassion. We ask that you contribute to the world with confidence and compassion. We ask that you do this as the only way forward. Through compassion, we regain our humanity when faced with inhuman circumstances. Through compassion, we find paths toward caring, where without it, those paths are blocked. Ultimately, it is what we hope you leave this school with and what we hope you have experienced while here. Seniors, I wish you well. Know you are loved, that you have grown and matured and become more compassionate people who will not shy away from the fierce winds you may encounter in the world. May the legacy you create be one marked by compassion, and may the world celebrate your work. Thank you.
running on the water, coming to the edge, running on the water, coming to the edge, running on the water, coming to the edge, running on the water, running, 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 coming to the running, 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 coming to the running, 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 the water, running, 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 coming to the running, running on the water, running, running, running on the water, come, let the river run, let all the dreamers wake the nation, come, the new Jerusalem. Silver cities rise, the morning lights, the streets that meet them, and sirens call them on with a song. It's asking for the taking, trembling, shaking. Oh, my heart is aching. We're coming and dry on water, come, your sons and daughters, let the river run, let all the dreamers wake the nation, come, the new Jerusalem. Silver cities rise, the morning lights, the streets that meet them, and sirens call them on with the coming to the edge, riding on the water, coming to the edge, riding on the water, come.
Sorry about that. I was waiting for my cue. Oh. All right. I apologize for my tone today. I'm a little under the weather, but so here we go. Hello, good friend. Hello, good afternoon, friends, family, and the class of 2016. And for me in particular, it's the class. It's more like the gift that keeps on giving, the class that keeps bringing me up on stage and putting me in these situations. So I'm going to remember this. Thank you. It's an honor to introduce your class speaker. She's been a great advisee to have in the Testify Advisory. She always brings out the best in us during our advisory discussions. Her calm, even-keeled demeanor is greatly appreciated. It's a pleasure seeing her develop into a more confident poet, writer, activist, actor, athlete during her time at Lick. She best described herself during her freshman year as holy, regal, and godlike. If you know Angela, hopefully you know a little bit about her personality, and it's very similar to mine, a little bit of cynical humor. I could not pick any other words that would be best fitting for her. And with that, the class of 2016, I present to you your class speaker, Angela Aiton.
My fellow seniors, to many of us, the past 4 years may be remembered with a certain air of fondness. We've laughed, we've cried, we've loved, we've lost, we've dabbled in Marxist ideologies and black magic, we've confronted our internal voids of existential nothingness, beaten down the nihilistic doom, traveled to the abyss and back again, fought our demons, and triumphed. Some of us have written books, albums, and plays, started nonprofits, traveled around the world, learned new languages, created beautiful paintings, sculptures, and buildings. Others of us have managed to go weeks without doing any laundry. We all have our accomplishments as well as our obstacles. The lives of first world private school teenagers are never easy, but together we have found a way to overcome this collective burden. Lick has taught me a lot in my time here, but above all, I've learned to tackle new challenges with an air of creativity, compassion, and confident confusion. Throughout my high school career, I have seen and heard amazing athletic accomplishments, beautiful orchestra and jazz performances, passionate debates, moving theater performances, and more dabs than any one human should ever have to be subjected to. In honor of the artistry Lick has fostered in all of us, I'd like to impart upon my senior class some wisdom about how to navigate their adult lives. So, without further ado, this is a short spoken word piece I wrote titled, How to File a 1040 Tax Return. 1. Determine if your income is taxable. For single people under 65, the threshold is about $10K, but it's significantly lower if you're still claimed as dependent, and there are exceptions based on how you earned your income. 2. Fill in personal information. 3. Choose your filing status. You'll want the status with the lowest tax liability, which is often the one with the highest standard deduction. 4. Fill out the exemption section. Check box 6A if you're not a dependent. 5. Enter your income as included on your W-2 form and make adjustments as they apply to you. 6. Start the tax and credits section. Determine if you want to take the standard deduction for your status or itemize your deduction. Usually it's the former. 7. Calculate the formula for exemptions, which is listed on the form. 8. Determine the total amount of tax by looking in the tax table provided by the IRS. 9. Finish the credit section as it applies to you. And 10. Calculate your refund if applicable. If total payments are less than the amount owed, then instead calculate the remaining amount you owe, and you have essentially completed your first 1040. So, in closing, my talented, effervescent peers, the world is your oyster, patiently waiting for you to slurp its slimy brown tender meat into your greedy mouths. Thanks to the tireless efforts of our parents, teachers, peers, and SparkNotes, we have all emerged intelligent and cultured youths with unlimited potential. So, to those of you that will inevitably go on to be the celebrities, role models, famous intellectuals, and leaders of our future generations, please invite me to cool parties. Thank you.
and pain and strife, I'll sing, I'll be, I'll live, sing. Peace. Peace.
Okay. Never in a million years did I envision myself standing before all of you speaking at my own graduation. Everyone who knows me will tell you that I'm actually pretty shy, and I typically avoid the spotlight, so you can imagine my dismay when I was asked to speak and introduce this next person. After much thought and consideration, I realized that there are very few people on this earth for whom I would take on such a terrifying challenge. But Mr. Lopez is one of those people. Mr. Lopez is the most genuine, caring, and dedicated teacher I have yet to encounter in my academic career. And for example, the day Nelson Mandela passed away, he cried 6 times in front of our class. Not many teachers would expose their vulnerability to their students the way that he did that day. I feel as if most teachers try to fit a decorum that they feel teachers should follow, but Mr. Lopez is always just himself. A real person who likes weird 80s music and carries around a tennis racket for no apparent reason. He's also the only teacher who never stopped believing in me despite all the headaches I've caused him over the years. It's no secret I wasn't a model student, but that never stopped him from chasing me down in the hallways to badger me for a late paper or to take the time to send me endless stream of emails to make sure I didn't fall behind. And even when I would ignore those emails, he would just keep sending me more until I replied. Most teachers would have given up on a brat like me, but instead, Mr. Lopez continued to believe in me, encourage me, push me to pursue my dreams, and make fun of me for my secret love of Justin Bieber. And for those reasons, he will always be a true hero and mentor to me. With that said, it's my great privilege to welcome to the stage Mr. Sean Lopez.
Do it again. Thanks so much for doing that. Got it. Hi, everybody. It's going to be a little hard to follow that. I did cry the day that Nelson Mandela died, so when somebody says nice things like that, it makes you want to cry again. With no further ado, I'm going to talk about deductions and dependent care filings. I'm kidding. I just made that up. Or maybe I won't do that. I don't know. We'll see. Full confession, I've been really nervous about this speech, and it's kind of surprised me. In my previous job, I did a lot of public speaking. I've spoken to auditoriums full of academics, students, community leaders, on the radio, on TV a few times. I don't remember being this nervous. So when Gavi said she was nervous, I think she thinks I'm not nervous, and I'm super nervous, okay? These nerves have resulted in me cycling through a bunch of really ridiculous speech ideas. And the people in the history department know how many bad ideas I've had. My first idea was to grow out my curly hair, show up dressed as Prince, and begin with the opening lines of Let's Go Crazy. And they're pretty suitable. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life, right?
But then I thought, that's cool for the parents, but the seniors probably don't even know who Prince is. So we scrapped that. So then I talked to Paul in the music department, and I said, hey, Paul, let's do a big production where I sing Queen's Somebody to Love. Right? It's going to be like Glee, and I was going to get the school's vocal ensemble involved, and it was going to be really great. And he's like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He talked me out of it, and he's like, and you're not Freddie Mercury. So I scrapped that idea. I even thought about dancing, right? And I thought I'll just choose some trendy poppy song. Some people will tell you that I kind of like Meghan Trainor, don't tell anybody. And that would have been memorable, but I'm pretty sure that would have been videotaped, and it would have been on the web in seconds, and I could never come back to Lick. And I kind of liked the place, so I scrapped that idea as well. So here I am, and I'm ready to mostly play it straight, and to say my piece in front of a group of young people and their friends and families that I deeply respect and who have made an oldish dude like me feel welcome in their young and vibrant world. This class, as sophomores, was the first class that I taught at Lick, and in many ways we've grown up together. When I showed up for my interview 3 years ago, I hadn't been in a high school classroom since I myself was a senior in the 1980s. Sure, I had lots of teaching experience, but it was at the university level, and I thought, well, teaching is teaching, this is gonna be a piece of cake, right? It turns out that teaching high school is pretty damn hard. I've had to lean on my amazing colleagues in the history department to survive, and they've literally saved me countless times. I walk in at 7:58, and I'm like, I got nothing, help me out. And they do, so it's been pretty great. I also learned really quickly that I know nothing about 21st century teenagers, or that I didn't know anything about 21st century teenagers, and that seemed like a problem in the classroom. So in true researcher fashion, I dove in and I tried to figure it out, right? I started listening to current hip hop and top 40 radio. I got a Spotify account. I think that's probably outdated now, but that's where I am, cutting some slack. I went to the dance concerts. I saw every Lick sports team play at least one time. I bought Converse All-Stars, even though I think they are a disturbing example of Foucauldian disciplinary power at work. I started shooting hoops with you during my free periods. I bantered with you about sports in the hallways, which as a Seahawks fan has been pretty fun the last 3 years. And I tried at every possible moment to be a presence on campus, to make a connection, to be available and open about who I am and what I believe. Now, all of this was initially to gain insight into the lives of young people, something that I didn't think I had, to figure out how I could help you find purpose and learn history and generally find your way in the world. But a funny thing has happened along the way. By accepting me into your community, it's you, the students, who've given me purpose and who have given me a sense of belonging. So, there I go. See, Mandela's been dead a couple years, and there I go. In my old world, the world of academia, I felt pretty isolated. I taught something like 250 undergraduates every year, but my TAs mostly handled the day-to-day contact with students. I spent more time with PhD students, but the work was usually the focus. My academic colleagues were nice people, but they didn't always feel like my people. I spent a lot of time alone and feeling like an intellectual imposter. Not because I wasn't smart enough, but because my background was really, really different. To be frank, I came here a little bit lost. And honestly, the students sort of got me out of that, which was pretty awesome. So, now, in this experience, I've learned a few things. And one of the things I've really learned that seems really important to me is that to be our best selves, we all need to feel some sense of belonging. And the reality is it's really, really hard to find it. So I'm in a good place these days, but the truth is some in our community are not. As amazing as this school is, many of our kids struggle, weighed down by the weight of academic expectations and the social pressures of a school with tremendous racial, gender, and economic diversity and lots of hierarchies. In addition to teaching, I mentor the Boys of Color Club on campus, a club whose unofficial motto is love and optimism. But it's pretty clear that the optimism part of the equation is missing for some of our students. In the midst of our crazy world, where politicians often act against the public interest, and where people of color, immigrants, and refugees are often blamed for society's ills, it's not surprising that some of our young people feel anxious about the future. Lick is insulated, but not impervious to the world outside of our walls. Now, the imposter syndrome that I lived with for years as alive and well at Lick, as it is in most places. And many of our students feel anxious about whether they fit at our school, even after being at our school for 4 years. And that reality was driven home for me at the spring dance concert just a couple of weeks ago. In one of the numbers, 4 girls of color performed while statements about their experience at Lick played over the sound system. I recognized the voice of one student as she said, quote, "In 4 years at Lick, I've never raised my hand in a class." Now, this is a student I myself taught multiple times, and when I thought back to those classes, I realized that it was probably true. Now, like most students at Lick, this is a very smart young woman with so much talent and so much we could learn from, but something has kept her from feeling like a full member of our campus. And I know that she has important things to say, but clearly she doesn't feel like Lick is the place to say them. And I've been thinking about this a lot, and what it is about our school and about the world that we live in that holds kids back, that makes imposters of kids whose voices we literally need to hear. I love this school, and I love these kids, but we have to do better than that, and I have to do better than that. Now, this sense of otherness, of not fully belonging, might be the most acute among people of color at our school, but it's pretty clear that they are not the only ones in the school who feel it. The innate desire to belong and the anxiety we feel when we want to fill in, but we don't think that we do, transcends the boundaries of race, class, and gender. Why is it so hard to foster an inclusive community, even at a place like Lick that has so many resources and so many amazing and open-minded people? I certainly don't have it figured out. But at a recent assembly, I think I glimpsed the path forward. A small group of very brave students sat on the stage and shared very personal stories about specific challenges facing them, about a health challenge facing one student's family, about what it feels like to be on flex tuition, about how it feels to pass up amazing opportunities because the money is just not there to make them happen. It was, for me, one of the deepest moments of learning in my 3 years here, probably more valuable than any classroom instruction that I could ever come up with. A moment of honesty and openness that we don't have often enough, either at Lick or in life generally. And it makes me think that the sense of belonging that we all long for must be, first and foremost, the product of a deep commitment to listening, truly listening to the stories of others. Those kids who were so honest that day took their moment and demanded our attention. I find myself thinking that we cannot truly fulfill our innate desire for community unless we share our stories and accept the stories of others into our hearts. Belonging is a team game. Now, obviously, I don't have the remedy for racial, economic, gender, or educational inequality. I don't have the silver bullet that's going to improve the psyche of the kid who feels isolated because they are collapsing under the pressure of unrealistic academic expectations, overscheduling, or because they speak with a different voice or perspective. But I don't think we can move forwards towards a better school or a better world until those individual stories are shared and, more importantly, heard, even if they cause us to reflect on aspects of our own behavior that are painful to acknowledge. So seniors, you're going off to the next stage, and for most of you, that's higher education of one sort or another. It's a great achievement, and you should be really proud. And I have a lot of faith that you will be successful in whatever you choose to pursue in life. But I'd like to suggest that we include in our definition of success a real commitment to making others feel welcome and appreciated, to inviting people in and taking the time to digest the lives that they have led. This is not a call to register voters, to do a bake sale for earthquake victims, or to develop a scientific study that measures happiness. Far too often, we want to solve the world's problems before we've taken the time to understand how they affect people on the most basic level. Far too often, we think we know better than the people we are actually trying to help. We are so anxious to do something that we fail to listen, even to the people who are right next to us, on the bus, in the office, in our classrooms. Now, this speech has been really hard for me to write. I know I can come across as cynical. Students will tell you this. But it's also true that I have more optimism than I sometimes let on. For the first time in my life, I feel like I know a group of young people well enough to know that, if given the chance, they will try to do the right thing. The imposter syndrome that I talked about, the sense of isolation that some of you have felt in your lives up till now, exists on college campuses and in many ways is more acute there. I spent 25 years of my life around universities, and while they all like to tout their diversity, students on those campuses tend to gravitate towards people just like themselves. Big surprise, right? College communities are thus often split along racial, ethnic, or national lines, and the result is that college tends to be many communities rather than one. Now, some might argue that this is not inherently bad, but I've always viewed it as a tragedy. You will soon find yourself in a place where there are literally thousands of life stories, experiences that you've never imagined before. Nothing, literally nothing, that you can get in the classroom can compare to the richness of the education that those stories have to offer. Missing out on them is missing out on an opportunity to build not just local or campus community, but rather a sense of global kinship and a deeper, more personal understanding of social justice. This, the class of 2016 at Lick-Wilmerding High School, is an amazing group of young people. I hope that you will remember those kids who didn't always fit seamlessly at Lick-Wilmerding, and whose stories we never quite got around to listening to. And I hope that motivates you to get out of your comfort zone, expose yourself, and learn from the people whose lived experiences differ greatly from your own. Don't silo yourself with people of similar backgrounds. Get out of the bubble, take the time to listen and reflect. Someone's got to buck the trend, and I'm betting it'll be you. Thanks.
a quiet, misty morning, when the moon has gone to bed, when the sparrows stop their singing. I'll be homeward bound
Welcome, friends, family, and most of all, class of 2016. To introduce Wiley Wadsworth, I want to tell you about her DBQ. As students of mine know, all juniors in my US history classes get the once-in-a-lifetime amazing opportunity to put together a DBQ in the fall of their junior year. DBQ is short for document-based question. The assignment asks them to find and annotate historical documents representing a range of information and perspectives. Wiley was given the topic Manifest Destiny and American Imperialism in the 19th Century. The depth of ethical thought, not to mention the magnificently meticulous formatting that went into that project, was astounding. Let me give you an example. A search for buffalo depopulation led Wiley to select an exceedingly haunting picture from 1878 of a man sitting atop 40,000 buffalo hides in Dodge City, Kansas, to include in her document collection. Of the picture, Wiley wrote, and I quote, "At the time the photograph was taken, Americans would most likely have perceived it as a proud representation of their expanding economy. The sheer quantity of the hides in the photo gives the impression of endless raw material and opportunity for wealth, free for the taking in the still rural states and territories. As people now know, however, North America's buffalo population shrank as the American frontier expanded, and ultimately the picture depicts the men indulgently serving themselves rather than protecting both the needs of the native tribes, whose lifestyle relied on the abundance of buffalo, and the balance of the plains ecosystem. The photo is thus ultimately also evidence of how greed and selfishness became intertwined with that economic success during westward expansion," end quote. The depth of this analysis and the big picture thinking are signature Wiley. This is a young woman who is strong across her academic disciplines and yet feels and thinks her way through the historical questions and issues posed to her as if history class were her only responsibility. In other words, Wiley is not afraid of putting in hard work to understand something and to study it from multiple perspectives and to take time and to feel and to care and to immerse herself in the search for understanding. I think at times that also meant that she slept very little. So I have never heard Wiley speak Chinese. I have never seen her play with her little siblings. I haven't worked with her in math. I haven't worked with her in science. I have never even seen Wiley play soccer. There is so much that I don't know about Wiley well, but my experiences with her in history classes, focused as she has been, have given me plenty to assure me that whatever she puts her mind to, she will give it absolutely her all. And I have a pretty good hunch that our world will be better for that. So I'm excited to welcome her up to the stage and super excited to hear her speak today. And everyone, please join me in your warm welcome for our valedictorian speaker, Wiley Wadsworth.
Hello, classmates. Hello, teachers. Hello, family and friends. And thanks for coming. Here we are at graduation. We've been saying we're done with high school for a long time now. We said it in December when the first semester ended. We said it when we got into college. We said it again after finals. But after tonight, we really will be done. It feels super weird. 4 years ago, we all met at freshman orientation. The world was a different place back then. Call Me Maybe was still a thing. They made us dance to it in our advisories. Our grade was different too. We were a bunch of little middle schoolers, excited and nervous to enter high school. We didn't know what a community meeting was, and most of us had never heard of a quote sandwich. The people who are our best friends now were still strangers to us. By that point in the summer, I had pretty much planned out what my high school experience would be. Here was the plan. Every morning, my friends and I would drive to school together in a convertible, just like in Mean Girls. School would pass by and homework wouldn't really exist, so after school, everyone would go get milkshakes together at a diner. I would, at some point, run into Zac Efron, captain of the basketball team. We would be in different friend groups, but after a long roller coaster of emotions, we would fall deeply in love. My plan crumbled pretty much in the first week of school. First of all, driving laws exist. None of my friends could legally drive me in their convertibles. And then even when they got their licenses, they didn't get convertibles. So instead, I had to take the J. And by taking the J, you should know that I actually mean waiting at the stop for it to arrive, because it literally never did. One random thing about high school that I did not anticipate as a little 8th grader was the significance of transportation in my daily life. When you take the same trip twice a day, 5 days a week for 4 years, you form a deep bond with your mode of transportation. For me, it was less of a bond and more of a deep-seated mutual hatred. Carolina, you have no idea how thankful I am for the rides you gave me. Furthermore, I underestimated the significance of the school part of high school by just a little bit. It was significant. School was really hard. I don't think anyone had time for after-school milkshakes, although one time Courtney and I did get an after-school cake. And actually, for a large part of our studenthood, many of us didn't even have time for sleep. I've complained a lot over the past 4 years about how little sleep I've gotten, and I will say now that not sleeping was a bummer. However, my relationship with school has been very much love-hate, and not sleeping was always counterbalanced by a lot of really great things. For example, rather than simply filling our heads with things we will forget, Lick really pushed us to grow as students. I think we've all grown in many ways since freshman year. One area in which I have grown is in my appreciation for analytical thinking. Analyzing things has always annoyed me. Like, why can't everyone just say what they think? And I have always disagreed fundamentally with the analytical essay. I feel like everyone should just interpret books how they want to. But as I moved through high school, I began to see how the skill of reading between the lines might actually be important. One thing I've learned from all the texts we've read in English and history is that basically no one ever says what they mean. There's always some bias or hidden point of view, and the author could actually be trying to sneak ideas into your head without you noticing. Especially in this time when information is so readily available, it is very important for us to know how to think critically and question everything. So thank you, Lick, for putting this tool in my tool belt. Another great thing about Lick is that we have a sort of army of really cool and inspiring teachers. You guys keep the material interesting and make it relevant to our lives. That is awesome and really annoying because it makes us want to work hard in your classes. Dr. Hong, you are an example. I've probably complained about you more than any other teacher I've had at Lick. But it's not because you gave us too much work. I mean, you did assign a lot of reading, but mainly it was because I respected you so much and wanted so badly to earn your respect that I worked for way too long on all of your assignments. You are a dedicated teacher, and from the beginning of my US history class last year, you demanded the same dedication from us. You have high standards, and your brutal honesty when it comes to critiquing our work makes you intimidating. But you are also warm and compassionate, and you make class fun. Thanks for bringing us ice cream that one class when we were hearing back from colleges. Dr. Hong, you managed to push us to the highest standard of learning and at the same time be our friend. And for that, I admire you very much. Thank you for being my teacher. So back to my high school plan crumbling. There were no convertibles, and school involved work. But most importantly, where the heck was Zac Efron? When I found out that my true love was not actually a student here, I thought my social life would be ruined. But luckily, I got over it, because I was in a grade with you guys. I am deeply honored to be graduating next to all of you. Everyone thinks high schoolers are mean, but you guys are so the opposite. I feel incredibly fortunate that I was able to spend 4 years of my life in this community where people lift each other up and value one another's differences. I really do like hanging out as a whole grade, and I think that's pretty rare. It was so fun when we stormed the Fac Lounge. I also think being around you has made me a better person. You guys are so cool. Thanks to every one of you for always making me feel welcome. There are a couple other communities I want to thank. Girls soccer, you guys have always been my rock. I will never forget when we got revenge on Irvin last year in NCS, and I'm seriously going to miss our themes and sleepovers. Thank you for everything. Girls Lax, you guys also became a big part of my senior year. Thanks for letting me be a varsity laxative next to all of you. And to KK and the Donut Lady, no matter how bad of a day I was having, being at Happy Donuts with you always made me feel better, so thank you. A big regret I have is not realizing how much I liked all of you guys sooner. The realization didn't really hit me until this year. I think that's because it wasn't until this year that I relaxed enough to take in what was around me. So as we go off in our various directions, I think we should try hard not to get so caught up in the stress of school and in our smaller friend groups that we do not appreciate the greatness in our new communities, wherever they may be. Also, I recommend against setting a lot of expectations like I did, because you might be disappointed. I'm very confident that with an open mind and a positive attitude, you'll have a great time no matter where you are and what happens. Lastly, although we will be done with high school after tonight, don't think of this as goodbye to each other. My great-grandma always said, when you say goodbye, leave. And we aren't leaving yet. So instead of being sad, let's get pumped for this summer and all the future summers we still have together. Thank you.
My name is Kate Wiley, and I'm the Dean of Students at Lick-Wilmerding High School. And it is my honor to read the names of our graduating class from Lick-Wilmerding High School, the class of 2016. You ready, JJ? Okay. James Jacob Altman. Griffin Kim Asbury. Lucas Robert Babs. Edward Daniel Baker. Brandon Antonio Baladeras. Isaiah Allison Baluyut. Eli Jonathan Barnes. Samuel Joseph Burston. Alexander David Braum. Nikhil Reddy Brokini. Alexis Kara Sandifer Bullock. Spencer Cornelius Burgett. Tatiana Abele Nkechi Capco. Chloe Elizabeth Carruthers Liska. George Louis Castellon Castillo. Kate Shalom Tirana. Gabriela Belen Sanchez Chavez. Killian Collins. You're welcome. Nisarindani Contreras Lidka. Rachel Davida Weiss Cornejo. Cole Woodside Crawford. Zachary Jacob Cummings. Quinn Gable Donahue. Brian Takuji Ebasuzaki. Mika Elan. Michelle Grundman Etzbach. Desmond Ty Everts. Alana Camille Ryan Farrell. Michael Grant Flynn. Jack Julian Fong Gugatas. Marissa J. Fong. Shane David Gilligan Steinberg. Anderson Bernabe Gonzalez Geronimo. Nina Lee Gonzalez Silas. Nathan Pollard Gorjance.
Thank you.
I don't think I got it in that. Sydney Renee Green. Thank you. Zoe Tallhurst Harris. Cameron Forrest Hollersmith. Lauren Elizabeth Hom. Trent Andrew Holmeyer. Hong Chi Hui. Kevin Zigiya Hao. Julia Chang Howard. Michael Huang. Angela Sophia Eiton. Meyer J. Johnson Potter. Miles Alexander Jones. Cameron Berkeley Kaplan. Kira Henry Keegan. Avery Lee Kellenberger. Taft Elizabeth Weber Kilpack. Lily Chapin Koch. Congratulations. Peter Gates Koch. Lauren Marie Krikorian. Emily Taya Lamb. Nathan Ken Y. Lamb. Ava Grace Laxo. Robert Dixon Layton. Kira Lee Munshaw. Madeline Bojan Leibovich. That's why you're all doing it to me, isn't it? Carolina Wong Leon. Maya Williams Andrews Levin. Clara Blake Leung. Aiden Honora Lisker. Jasmine Wei Mai. Sonia Marie Martin. Dominic Leo Masato. Alexander Carluin May. Samantha Karina Mendoza. Atessa Monir Mogimi. Justin Francis Gayer Morgan. Caitlin Jane Murphy. Lauren Olivia Covington Murray.
Thank you.
Madeline Rose Nakata. Kaylin Nicole Narita. Gabriel Seiji Oda. Ron Oppenheimer. Theodore Nicholas Overway. Max Coleman Ozer Staten. Catherine Rose Peabody. David Mininger Pellets. Courtney Polskamp Peterson. Isabel Louisa Bishop Povey. Antonio Tone Weisner Quadra. Rafael Tomas Quintero. Grant Kyle Ratna Husena Rajapakse. Tobiah Lawrence Richkind. Luke Bud Rigetti. Justin Terrell Robinson. Darius Isaac Rudeminer. David Bradley Rupright. Christian Tyler Rydeen. Alexa Ann Saccone. Alexander J. Sahai. Danya Shao Sauerhoft. Eitan Schillinger Hyman. Gabriel Schillinger Hyman. Nithya Sharma. Jacob Steinberg Shaw. Marcus Shimazaki Simmons. Anthony Barrett Sinclair. Malhar Thirumale Singh. Ricky, Talib, Costco, Hockenhole, Smith. Andres Esteban Sobolvaro. All good things. Michelle Annalyn Bugayang Soledad. Jeremy Sparagon. Siobhan Alec Lynn Steuben. Charles David Story. You're welcome. Isabel Nazgol Telebi. Aaron Jaquin Sang.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Pauline Marie Unitas. Marcus Graham Veal. Wiley Hayes Wadsworth. Dana Wu. Elizabeth Pei Ying Wu. Jillian Jenny Wu. Anna Marguerite Nelson Young.
Thank you. thank you, everybody, for coming today. It's just always such a joyous occasion, and we're so proud of our graduates. I want to also thank this amazing orchestra and Ms. Stoddard. And of course, our incredible choir directors, Billy and Paul, and their amazing choir. So thank you so much. So I now ask the graduated class of 2016 to please stand.
grab on.